The confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 948, with 4 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 8 additional cases were reported, with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Colin Kushner, filling in for Rhiannon Trutanich. It's Tuesday, October 19th. Flags throughout the country are lowered to half-staff in memory of General Colin L. Powell, who passed away yesterday from COVID-19 complications. The former U.S. Secretary of State and chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff was also battling cancer at the time of his death. President Joe Biden issued a proclamation calling the Vietnam veteran a patriot of unmatched honor and dignity. He believed in the promise of America because he lived it, and he devoted much of his life to making that promise a reality for so many others. He embodied the highest ideals of both warrior and diplomat. He led with his personal commitment to the democratic values that make our country strong. He repeatedly broke racial barriers, blazing a trail for others to follow, and was committed throughout his life to investing in the next generation of leadership. President Biden ordered the American flags at all public buildings and grounds, military posts, and naval stations throughout the U.S. and its territories to be flown at half-staff until the sunset of Friday, October 22nd. We also wanted to share this quote from Colin Powell himself: "Always do your very best. Even when no one else is looking, you always are. Don't disappoint yourself." Powell was 84 years old. U.S. regulators are expected to authorize the mixing and matching of COVID-19 booster shots this week. It's an effort to provide flexibility for those seeking to stay extra protected against the coronavirus. The upcoming announcement by the Food and Drug Administration is likely to come along with authorization for the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson boosters. The FDA is expected to say that, especially for the mRNA vaccines, which are the Pfizer and Moderna ones, maintaining consistency in the vaccine course is preferable. But allowing for mixing and matching could alleviate supply issues and make it easier for Americans to get a booster in their arms. It can also give those who experienced adverse reactions to an initial dose of a vaccine the opportunity to try something else. The move will come after the U.S. said it would recognize mixing and matching of vaccines administered overseas. California is the only state to drop to the moderate rate of COVID-19 transmission. This is according to the latest data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. California has some of the strictest mask and vaccine mandates in the country and also shows the lowest death rate in the nation from COVID-19, with 0.2 deaths per 100,000 reported in the last 7 days. As the most populous state, California reported more than 70,000 deaths since the pandemic began. 44 states and U.S. territories remain in the high level of transmission, and their case rates worsened on average in the past 7 days. 8 states and territories are in the substantial level, and 2 territories are joining California in the moderate level: Puerto Rico and Northern Mariana Islands. 5 Southern California counties are showing improvements of COVID-19 transmission. LA, Orange, Ventura, Riverside, and San Bernardino all dropped down from the high to substantial level. Unhoused individuals in LA are being enlisted to speak to their peers about getting vaccinated. It's part of a program launched in August that is funded as a study through the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA. The idea is simple. People tend to listen more to those they know. So the LA County Department of Health Services is working with people living in tents, RVs, and other makeshift shelters to help get more unhoused people vaccinated against COVID-19. Dozens of individuals became peer ambassadors through this project. They get compensated with $25 gift cards to stores such as Target or Ralph's for each hour they work for up to 8 hours. To be eligible, they must have a, quote, lived experience of homelessness. Most are currently unhoused. They work alongside Department of Health Services workers, sharing their personal experiences with the vaccine. The team also hands out snacks, water, and other critical supplies, including kits to treat opioid overdoses, A medical team is on site to provide the vaccinations if the individuals they reach out to agree. As of late September, public health officials estimate that 56.7% of people experiencing homelessness across LA County were at least partially vaccinated. More than 200 homeless people have died from the virus. Refusing to follow a COVID-19 vaccine mandate, Allison Williams, a well-known sports reporter, is leaving her job at ESPN after a decade.
Effective next week, I will be separated from the company.
The college basketball and football reporter shared on social media that ESPN and the Walt Disney Company denied her request for accommodation. She announced last month of her plans not to get vaccinated while she and her husband were trying to have a second child. ESPN's parent company, Disney, issued a vaccine mandate over the summer with a deadline set for this Friday, October 22nd. The CDC urged people who are pregnant or might become pregnant to get vaccinated, saying there is currently no evidence showing that COVID-19 vaccines cause fertility problems or an increased risk for a miscarriage. But in her video, Williams explained her medical apprehensions about receiving the vaccine, adding that she was morally and ethically not aligned with it. Williams has been reporting for ESPN since 2011 and said she ultimately could not put a paycheck over principle. She is one of a growing minority of workers choosing to leave work rather than get vaccinated. Hundreds of airline and hospital workers have also quit or gotten fired when faced with a similar mandate. 100 container ships were out today waiting to unload at the ports of LA and Long Beach. This is the worst it's ever been. The major backlog breaks last month's record of 97 vessels, and it's about to get worse. Another 45 ships are expected to arrive by Thursday. During non-pandemic times, there would typically be about 17 ships at anchor. One economist says the backlog is partially due to a change in consumer spending patterns during COVID-19. A toy-making company reported that the cost of shipping supplies such as cardboard and plastic recently spiked by 300% and expects some toy prices to double by next year. Last week, President Joe Biden announced the Port of LA would shift to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, noting that the backlog will likely continue into next year. The Southern California ports account for 40% of all shipping containers entering the U.S. California has reported its driest year in a century, and experts warn it could get even worse. The Western Regional Climate Center tracks precipitation and water levels and calculated that a total of 11.87 inches of rain and snow fell in the state this water year. That's about half of what experts consider average. The state's water year runs October 1st through September 30th. According to the California Department of Water Resources, the last water year was the second driest on record, and the last time the state reported so little rain and snowfall was back in 1924. Reservoirs are currently depleted, and emergency drought proclamations are issued in 50 of California's 58 counties. Governor Gavin Newsom called on Californians to voluntarily reduce water use by 15%, and state officials say mandatory water restrictions may have to take place if dryness continues this winter. California recorded its hottest summer this year, and the extreme heat parched the state's landscape. Climatologists fear that as the new water year begins, the state could be in for more of the same, as La Niña conditions that typically bring dry winters to California and the Southwest have emerged in the Pacific Ocean. A technical issue that delayed last month's child tax credit payments has been resolved. The Internal Revenue Service estimates that less than 2% of recipients did not receive their September payments on time, but confirmed they should have gotten them by now. The IRS and the Treasury Department say millions of American families are receiving their fourth batch of payments this month, totaling about $15 billion. About 36 million families are expected to have received the money across the country starting October 15th, most of them by direct deposit. Future payments are scheduled for November 15th and December 15th. Qualified families will receive payments of up to $300 per month for each child under age 6 and up to $250 per month for each child ages 6 to 17. In California, more than 4.2 million advanced child tax credits were issued last Friday, covering close to 7.1 million kids. Amazon announced another hiring spree this week. It's planning to bring 150,000 seasonal employees on board to assist with the holiday shopping rush. That's 50,000 more than this time last year. The workers will help pick, pack, and ship orders at warehouses across the country. Amazon announced the jobs have an average of starting pay of $18 an hour. The company also offers a $3,000 sign-on bonus at some locations, along with an additional $3 an hour for some shifts. Amazon has been known for offering free college tuition as well. The company's chief financial officer, Brian Olsavsky, says the competitive labor market is leading to higher costs. Amazon hired 500,000 employees in 2020. The new holiday hires come after the company announced in September that it was looking to hire 125,000 employees nationwide. LA County officials are continuing their efforts to get rid of the bad odor from the Dominguez Channel in Carson, and they have advice for residents who are still coping with it. Officials say families should run their heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems or portable air filters overnight while keeping doors and windows closed. Those who don't own these devices can get reimbursed for picking them up, and residents in affected areas can get paid back for hotel stays and meals. The Department of Public Works is spraying a non-toxic, biodegradable deodorizer into the channel to try and offset the smell. A system of aeration devices are also being installed to speed up decomposition of the organic matter in the channel that is believed to be causing the odor. El Camino College was recently named one of the top colleges for Hispanics. The Public, called the Hispanic Outlook on Education magazine, ranked the top 100 colleges and universities for Hispanics in its October issue. It ranked ELCO number 22 in the total enrollment for a two-year college category and number 23 in the total associate degrees granted category. Every year, the magazine features top 100 lists charting the national progress of Hispanic and Latinx students and faculty in higher education. The magazine recognizes institutions that are committed to serving the academic needs of its campus communities. El Camino was recognized for its long-standing reputation for high-quality student support services, award-winning faculty, and strong community partnerships and collaborations. Hispanic and Latinx students represent more than half of all students enrolled at El Camino. The Torrance City Council has the night off as it is a previously scheduled dark night. The next meeting will take place on Tuesday, October 26th. The public portion of the meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. Before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community, pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Well, I have the privilege of being the fill-in anchor on COVID-19 this month, thanks to Rhiannon Trutanich, who is taking some much-deserved time off to get married. A big congratulations to Rhiannon and her husband, Clinton. Now, originally they were supposed to get married in March of 2020, but as we all know, the pandemic struck and they were forced to cancel plans, contact guests, reschedule for a later date, and just put everything on hold for 19 months. Well, good things do happen to those who wait, because it was an incredible fairy tale wedding that finally came true for this couple. As you can see, thanks to Jim Kennedy, their amazing photographer, who shared some of these first look photos from Saturday's wedding. And yes, that is at the University of Southern California campus, Fight On, where they first met in college. Even K9 Corner's Popeye Trutanich had a role in the special occasion, along with the USC marching band. And after more than a year and a half of waiting, this truly felt like the wedding of the century. So much love in the room for these two. We are so thrilled that this day finally came true, Rhiannon, and wish you both a happy honeymoon. Congratulations. from all of us. What an epic story. Now, if you have an upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow as Christine Lee brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.